Hey everybody, this is Brian with Bear Cards 34. Today I am back with Sports Card Chats number 3. This is just a random series that I do from time to time. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about Topps. They have been out of the football card business for a while now, unfortunately. But Topps was really the brand when I was a kid, just for a little bit of time, and then that changed. But when I heard the news that Topps would be losing their license for baseball coming up here pretty soon, it definitely made me feel sad as far as just, I'm a nostalgic person. I love tradition, and Topps has been making baseball cards for 70 years now. And even though I'm not a major baseball card collector by any means, I loved that they were still producing sports cards, baseball cards, and they have some other things too, soccer and wrestling and things. But for me, knowing that Topps still had baseball and having a hope that maybe one day Topps would get back into football, so that was kind of discouraging, to be honest. It'll be really interesting to see how things go. So today, as part of the Sports Card Chat, I thought I'd just kind of tell you a little bit about kind of some of the questions I have. I'm not an expert. I don't have all the answers. I have no idea what this will look like with Fanatics buying out the licensing for the players and for the Major League Baseball. And then the reports that they'll soon be doing the same with football and basketball too. I will say that I am not a fan of monopolizing this. I believe that competition, healthy competition, is good for the hobby. I think it's good for collectors to have options, and I think it challenges card companies to put out good products. And so I'm a little discouraged if they get if Fanatics gets their hand in all of the major sports card collections and has exclusive licensing. My hope is that they're going to do a good job and that they'll be listening to the collectors. But I think just like any business, money talks. That's why they made the large offer that they did, which Topps just could not match. And so here we are. So, a few years from now, we'll have a lot more answers. But for right now, there's a lot of questions. So I think what I'm going to do for today, I wanted to start off just by saying, for those of you who follow my channel, a few months back, in one of my boom boxes, I pulled an autograph of a Topps autograph rookie card for Kadeem Carey. Now, Kadeem Carey did not do much in the NFL, but he was a Chicago Bear, so I was actually thinking that would be a nice card to have. But of course, it's a redemption that expired many years ago. So I did contact Topps, and the day before the news broke that they'd be losing the baseball contract, I received this email from them, and they basically let me know that Topps redemption cards are valid for 2 to 3 years, depending on specific product release. Any redemption request must be submitted prior to the expiration date. But then what was really cool is they said right here, we are happy to make an exception to this policy. If we have the card in stock, we'll redeem the redemption code to have the card shipped to you. If we do not have your expired redemption in stock, a care package will be sent to you. Please complete the back of the redemption card, which I did. Anyway, I just really appreciated that they would do that. They basically said, it's expired, but you know what, we'll make an exception. And I really appreciated that. Had some really good vibes towards Topps that day, which made it especially disappointing that the very next day I heard they'd be losing the rights to the baseball cards. So anyway, I will keep you guys posted as to what I get back. Part of me would like the Kadeem Carey card just for my Bears PC collection, but part of me would be really interested to see what kind of a care package they put together. And, it's possible it wouldn't even be football cards, but even still, that might be kind of interesting to see how it goes. Okay, so for today, I'll show some of my favorite cards from Topps during the years that I collected as a kid. So I started in 1988 officially. However, my brother bought a box of 1987 cards that I was very envious of, and that's kind of what spiked my interest in card collecting. And so basically this will be from about 87 to 1995. However, I don't have any Topps cards from 95. Because that's kind of when I stopped collecting, and I think I had purchased a few of the other brands just a little bit, and then it kind of faded away until I got back into it a few years ago. So this will be from just a handful of cards that are some of my favorite Topps cards from those last few years. As you can see here, I also have a 1990 Topps football pack that I will open today just for old time's sake. So I'll do that today as well. One of the things I really liked from Topps was that they would have 1,000 yard club cards. So each pack would contain one, and they even mention it right here. So I've got a couple of Paytons during his third and second to last season, and then a Jerry Rice one from 1988 Topps that highlighted the 87 season. So right here you see the 1987 Walter Payton Topps base card. I mean, and every card was a base card except for the 1,000 yard clubs, to be honest. But anyway, this Walter Payton card was his final card as an active football player. And then another card that I really love is this one right here. And this is the original card. This is my very first football card ever. I've shown it before, so some of you may be familiar with this. My brother gave me this Howie Long card. Definitely not a gradable card to say the least, but it's one of my favorite cards just because it was the very first one I ever had. So the following year, which was when I first started collecting cards actively, my favorite card was this one right here, the Walter Payton record breaker from his 87 season. The reason it was my favorite card was obviously it was my favorite player. I was really not expecting them to make that card because he had been retired, and as I knew from Topps, they were not really publishing cards of players who were not active anymore. And so I didn't expect him to be in the set, and when I got that card in a pack, I was just thrilled. However, it's not really the base card, and I wanted to kind of highlight their design. So my next favorite card was and still is the Bo Jackson rookie card. I think that's a really awesome card, and he had such a good year, and it's crazy to think of how good he was. Look at that. He averaged nearly 7 yards per carry that season. That's crazy good. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to mention here was, with Topps and Fanatics, with Fanatics taking control and basically potentially changing sports cards as we know it, depending on how things go. The things that I'm considering as a collector, and remember, the only way I'm an investor would just be in the sense of I invest in the hobby. I invest my time, my energy, my money, because I love it. So when I buy cards, I want to make sure that I'm paying a price I feel good about, but I'm not necessarily looking at it like it's a stock market graph. Okay, so for me, it's, do I love the card? Does it make me happy? Do I enjoy it? Do I feel comfortable with the price I'm paying? And that's good for me. Now, do I like rare cards? Of course I do. Do I like valuable cards? Yes, I do. I like cards that are desirable, for sure. But there's more to it than that, So for me, it's not all about the money. It's not all about the scarcity necessarily. But I do love those cards too. So I totally understand that side of it. But for me, I'm just looking at this all from a collector's point of view. When I heard Topps was getting let go from baseball, it concerned me and made me feel sad, but then it also made me even more concerned when I heard the rumor, and I don't even know if it's a rumor at this point, it might be confirmed, but when I heard they were potentially going to bring in Fanatics for the exclusive rights for football and basketball as well. So right here was my favorite Topps card from 1989. Two reasons for that. I love Jim McMahon, and I also think it's a great photo. The other part of this, though, is that was his last year on the Chicago Bears. So what Topps ended up doing, because what we saw at that point was new card companies, Dorsett and Score, and even Action Pack did a little bit. They came out and suddenly had a new product. And what they were able to do, that Topps was a little bit behind on, was they were able to have full color photos on the back, some really sharp graphics. So both Dorsett and Score had some eye appeal, and the thing that they did that Topps at that point had not yet done was they were including true rookies in the sets. And so what basically occurred at that point was Topps came out with their traded series for football, and I think they had done this for baseball for a while, but anyway, This right here was the first year. So while Jim McMahon, that card is my favorite card of that year, it also, in the traded set, had my least favorite card of the year. And that's just because I hated seeing him traded to the Chargers. I literally cried as a kid when he got traded. It broke my heart. And so that was very hard. The only thing that would have been worse is if they had traded him to the Packers. And of course, he signed with the Packers later. So yeah, that was fun too. Anyway, that was kind of as we went. My new favorite player after Payton retired was this guy right here, Barry Sanders. And so that is his Topps traded rookie card for Barry. And so getting back into my questions about Fanatics and how things are going to go, how will this impact myself and others as collectors? Are Fanatics going to try to purchase the rights to certain intellectual properties? Like if they get Panini or if they replace Panini, will they try to take things like Prism with them? Will they, with baseball, try to take, Topps Chrome? I don't know. Are they going to start things all over? How will that impact the value of the previous sets if they're no longer being printed, if they're no longer a current set? I also wonder as well, will this potentially, what will their print runs be like? Are they going to overprint? Are they going to underprint? Are they going to have a lot of options? Are they going to have very few options? I mean, maybe these things will be good. Maybe with their rights to, memorabilia and a lot of access to the players, maybe we'll have more on-card autos or game-used jerseys or stuff like that. I really just don't know. Or because they're the only ones out there and they're looking to make as much money as they can, are they going to cut corners? Are they going to overproduce so that they get, as many people purchasing them as they want? Are the cards going to be good quality? I mean, at this point, they've never made cards before. Are they going to buy out Topps? Are they going to buy out Panini? There's a lot of questions out there, and I honestly don't know. I'm very interested to see what will happen. At the end of the day, for me, it's, quality products that are worth collecting, things that I enjoy. So if they're able to put out a product that I like and I enjoy and I feel good about, then I'll definitely continue collecting. But would I prefer Topps to be in the game? Absolutely. Like I said, I love the history of Topps. I like tradition. I like the fact that they've been around and in the game as long as they have. And does that mean Topps is perfect? No. But I definitely am sad to see them go. One thing that would be great, but I don't see this happening, is if they bring in people who genuinely love the hobby and understand the hobby to try to create a product that the collectors want. Whether that'll happen, I would guess not, but I sure am hopeful that that could be the case. At the end of the day, if they can both balance their ability to make money with their ability to give collectors what they really want, then this could be a good thing. But to be honest, I'm pretty discouraged by the news, personally. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd be curious to see. So anyway, I'll just kind of show a few more cards here. As I mentioned, Pro Set and Score getting in the game. Action Packed also jumped in soon after. Fleer. You also had, things like Proline, as well as Upper Deck, of course. They were pretty big in it for a while. And then you started getting more premium brands like Pro Set Platinum, Pinnacle from Score. You started getting some other brands like Pacific, and you would get things like Collector's Edge as well. There were also, at that point, cards that were specifically made for college. So you get some Wild Card College, you get Wild Card Star Picks, among others. And one of my favorite sets that came out, it started coming out, I think around 93, was Playoff. I loved the thicker card stock. The photos I thought were really, really sharp on the front and the back. So I really enjoyed those. And then, of course, Topps really stepped it up by making some premium products. I love Topps Stadium Club. These are some of my favorite cards. I love that they would put a picture of their rookie card from Topps on the back. And they'd have a little blurb from the Sporting News analyzing the players. And then, of course, stepped it up even more with Topps Finest. Again, this is just a really beautiful, beautiful set right here. So, those are, some of the cards that as a kid I became pretty fond of. And then, of course, the year after that, we've got 1990. This was my favorite card. And as part of the traded set, this was my favorite card just because he was so good, Emmitt Smith. And then the year after that, for Topps, this is my favorite card. I love the photo, the design, the All-Pro really pops. But just to kind of give you guys an idea of what the standard card looked like, this Neil Anderson was what the normal card was. And then the All-Pro definitely stood out, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, this is my favorite card from the next year, from 92, John Elway. I just really love the picture. I thought it was perfectly placed, and just you can see the effort that he has just to make that throw. And they also had some gold parallel, gold inserts there, the foil, which were really nice. So this is the late Kevin Green, Hall of Famer, just an example of those foil cards. And then for 1993, I always really liked this card with Michael Strahan. And I can't remember, Marcus Buckley was the other guy in this. But I think it's a cool rookie card, and I like the dual rookies, kind of like they do from time to time. And then for Topps, nobody give me any grief for this. He went to Utah. I was a big fan of his. So I was excited for him to go to the Lions after his few years as a backup to Dan Marino. So this was my favorite card for the time back then. But to show you that year, they also had these rookie cards that had a much different look that separate them, and I really liked that they would do that. And then they also had these really cool parallels that you could get, and they even today I think they aged really well. I think those are gorgeous looking cards. So anyway, that's kind of a little showing case of some of my favorite Topps cards from when I was a kid. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you guys, just because I thought about, producing sports cards. You guys may not know this, but I produced sports cards back in the day. They were, my brother and I made these cards. They're all one-of-ones, actually, so probably pretty valuable, I would think. So my brother and I would play Tecmo Bowl, and we would, at the time, we would, play each season with each team that we liked anyway, and then we would create cards based on the stats they had in Tecmo Bowl. So if I remember right, this was still at a time where they didn't keep the stats for the season, so we would keep the statistics. This might have been, it was right around that time. So Ronnie Lott for us had 15 interceptions. I'm looking at these now, and, I kind of cringe that we cut up cards, but, this was, as we later found out, the junk wax era. So we, it could have been worse. Thank goodness this wasn't a Jerry Rice rookie card that we cut up, or I'd be in pain right now. So that's an example there. And then some Chicago Bears cards as well. So we talked about in our game, Walter Payton ended his career. He was in the game for the year we had this. So even though he had retired, we decided to bring him out of retirement, and he ran for 2,829 yards to end his career. So nice job, Walter, right? And his backup, Neil Anderson, also had over 1,000 yards. And, you got Singletary, you got McMahon, who had his best season passing. And, it would have to probably be Tecmo Bowl to get those numbers for McMahon, even though he's great. And Dan Hampton. So, so these were kind of fun to find and to show off. And I even created this little thing for the team about Sweetness and kind of a tribute to him, mentioning, his return through Tecmo Bowl. And I put the top sticker there, and I even tried to fake his autograph right there. So, yeah. Anyway, those were kind of fun. And it kind of reminds me, actually, I'll mention this story real quick. When I was a kid, because we cut up these cards, right? When I was a kid, there was this neighborhood kid named Steven, and Steven would have cards, and when he would try to trade with us, and he would show us the card, and he'd make a deal, he'd make an offer, and then he'd count it down, and he'd give us 10 seconds to think about it, and if we said no to the deal, he would tear his card up. It was intense. And so as a kid who loved cards, the idea of just tearing them up to tear them up was, that was blasphemy to me. And it would stress me out. And sometimes I would make deals just because I didn't want him to tear the card up, which I'm sure is part of why he was doing it. It was probably working pretty well. So anyway, I just thought of that. That was kind of a funny story that Steven would do that. But I remember that pretty well. Okay, so I've got this. We'll go ahead and rip it open. So as we see here, it was 50 cents back in the day. We're going to get 15 cards, including a 1,000-yard club. And the true definition of a wax pack. All right, so as you know, there we go. There's nice on Pat Terrell. And it even seeped through the card a little bit there. Okay, So as you know, we're going to get this 1,000-yard club card, which is an Anthony Carter of the Vikings. And we actually got a really nice rookie card right here of Junior Seau, the late Junior Seau. That's a cool card. That's nice to have. I like that. Oh, Jeff Alm. You know, this was a sad story. He was a rookie from Notre Dame, played for the Oilers. Oh, that was a sad story. So he was involved in a car accident, and his friend passed away in it. He was the driver, and he was so distraught that just after the accident, he ended up taking his own life. So very, very sad story there. He was a very talented player, second-round draft pick of the Oilers. Unfortunate ending there, but he was great at Notre Dame. He really was. T.J. Turner, Farrell Edmonds, whose son is playing, Jeff Query. Greg Bell, he was one of my favorite running backs. He played for the Rams and the Bills, and then later the Raiders, but didn't do as much with the Raiders. Lockhart, Albert Lewis, Pat Beach, Robert Clark, Dan the Man Hampton, Danimal, very nice. And Sterling Sharp, who I think should be in the Hall of Fame. I know his career was cut short with injuries, but I thought he was great. And Keith Millard, or Keith Millard, I can't remember how to say that, but he was very, very good back in the day as well. So anyway, that was a nice little rip. Definitely the best card there was the Junior Seau rookie card. But again, I'm going to miss Topps. I'm just sad to see that go. And I wanted to mention, for those of you who saw my video a long time ago, I showed this. This is Tony Dorsett's autobiography that was written, and I was able to meet him, and he autographed it for me. It was a really cool thing, and I actually just found the pictures of him signing the book. So that's actually me as I don't know what I would have been, 13 maybe, with my Little League football jersey on, and that's Tony Dorsett with this book in his hand right there, signing it. And here's another picture that my mom took of me kind of watching as he signed. I was able to shake his hand and say hi and tell him I love the book, even though at the time I had not read it, I don't think, but I did read it after that. So anyway, that was a fun moment for me to be able to meet Tony Dorsett, one of the greatest running backs of all time. And I'm happy I was able to find those pictures because I had wondered where those were. All right. So this is kind of becoming the Dances with Wolves of YouTube videos, but that's okay. That's what these chat things are. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 25 minutes. So I've got a little mail day, so I'll go ahead and show you guys what I have for this go-round. So this one, oh yeah, okay. So this is a Daz Newsome. This is a Daz Newsome 2021 Prism Draft Orange Cracked Ice. Really like this card. And I like his autograph. It's just Daz. Very cool. Sharp card there for sure. Definitely happy to have that one. Daz Newsome started out as a defensive back in college and then converted to wide receiver. And he just signed with the Bears his 4-year rookie contract. And later that same day, he then broke his collarbone. But he is back. He was playing in the preseason game today a little bit. So I'm glad to see him healthy. I guess I could... Oh, there it is. So this is another one that I purchased off of eBay. And that's had its own news this week, right? PWCC and eBay, and sounds kind of messy. I'm just going to focus on the cards. So anyway, Daz Newsome right here. Really pretty card. And it's numbered 14 out of 30. You can see that there. So, you know, he's got, you know, we've got Mooney and Robinson and a couple other, Ridley. We've got some other receivers in there, but hopefully he'll get a little playing time. That would be good to see. And then this one of my favorite players in the NFL. He played for Utah and Chicago Bears. 24 out of 99. This is the Jalen Johnson 2020 Chronicles rated rookie. Nice little card here. He was the 50th pick of the draft. First team All Pac-12 for 2 years for Utah. And he had a really good rookie season, and then unfortunately got injured near the end of the year, but he's back and healthy this year. And then the last one here. Okay, so this is for my PC. This is a Robert Turbin 2012 Strata Clear Cut Auto Relic. He was a 4th round pick of the Seahawks back in 2012, which had a great draft. They had Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner. Wagner was teammates with Robert Turbin at Utah State. They went to the Seahawks together. He played in one game as a rookie where he was able to rush for 100 yards because they were having such a blowout. He was able to get into the game and ran for 100 yards. I think it was like the 13th or 14th week of his rookie year. Won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, played in another one. And then he went back to the Seahawks in 2019 at the end of the year because they had so many injuries. They brought back Turbin and his counterpart for all those years running, Marshawn Lynch. So that's a nice one right there. So anyway, again, Tops, it's been great. I'm very curious to see what the future holds. And if I ever look back on this in a few years, we'll have some more clarity. This could be maybe a positive at some point, but right now I'm feeling kind of down about it. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'll be back with more in the future, and everybody take care. Thanks so much for watching.